"You'll be alright," he murmured, so softly I almost didn't hear him. His words shouldn't have reassured me, but they did. Lyra stirred again, her voice quiet but clear. "This isn't fate," she said, "but it might be something else." I didn't know what she meant, and I didn't have time to figure it out. The ceremony was about to begin. The air inside the ceremonial hall was thick with anticipation. My wolf stirred uneasily beneath my skin, pacing and growling at the edges of my consciousness. Even as I adjusted the delicate lace of my wedding gown, I couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone was watching me. "Aurea, you look stunning," Anmira said as she embraced me tightly, her scent of lavender and cedar momentarily soothing my nerves. She handed me an intricately carved wooden box, a gift meant to symbolize the union of two packs. "Sorry I'm late. The roads were blocked with patrols. There's been some tension near the borders today." I nodded, trying to focus. The tension wasn't new. Over the past few days, rogue sightings had increased near our territory, and while Taylor assured me that his pack had everything under control, my instincts told me otherwise. Still, today wasn't about rogue wolves or border disputes. It was about uniting my pack with the jewels, solidifying an alliance that would ensure safety for everyone under our care. As I stood at the entrance to the ceremonial grounds, the steady hum of the crowd fell away. The energy shifted, every wolf present feeling the significance of the moment. Taylor, my soon-to-be mate, stood tall at the altar. His powerful aura radiated strength and stability, and for the first time, I allowed myself to relax. The ceremony began smoothly, the chants of the elders weaving through the sacred space. Taylor's piercing amber eyes never left mine, and I felt my wolf calm under his steady gaze. The weight of the pack's expectations eased as I reminded myself of my duty. Just as the elder handed us the ceremonial dagger to complete the blood bond, a voice shattered the peace like a thunderclap. "Stop the ceremony." The growl was deep, desperate, and achingly familiar. My heart started as my head snapped toward the source. There, disheveled and defiant, stood Nicho, his eyes wild and glowing with the silver sheen of his wolf. A ripple of unease passed through the crowd. My father's furious snarl broke the stunned silence. "Nicho, this is neither the time nor the place for your antics. Guards, remove him immediately." But Nicho was faster. He shoved past the enforcers and strode toward me, his wolf barely restrained. His sandpine and smoke hit me like a wave, dragging me into memories I'd fought so hard to bury. "Aurea, you can't do this," he pleaded, his voice cracking. "You're my mate. You always have been." Gasps rippled through the audience. Taylor stiffened beside me, his jaw tightening, but he didn't move. "Nicho," I said, my voice low but steady, "you rejected me. You told me you didn't want a mate." He flinched as if I'd struck him, his glowing eyes dimming for a moment before reigniting with determination. "I was a fool. I let fear and pride blind me. I didn't know what I was throwing away. Please, Aurea, don't do this. Don't bind yourself to him." The crowd murmured, the tension thick enough to cut with a claw. Taylor finally stepped forward, his voice calm but edged with authority. "Aurea has made her choice, Nicho. This union is what's best for her and for the packs. If you truly care for her, you respect that." Nicho growled, his wolf rising to the surface. "You don't understand. She's mine." Taylor's aura flared in response, and the crowd fell silent. "Aurea belongs to no one. She chooses her path." I stared at Nicho, my heart heavy. There had been a time when I would have done anything to hear him say these words. But now too much had happened. The bond we might have shared had been severed the day he turned his back on me. "I'm sorry, Nicho," I said softly, stepping closer to Taylor. "It's too late." The pain in Nicho's eyes was unbearable, but I forced myself to turn away. Taylor wrapped an arm around me, his presence grounding me as he called for the guards to escort Nicho out. This time, Nicho didn't fight. He let the enforcers drag him away, but not before casting one last, desperate glance my way. The ceremony resumed, though the tension lingered. As I accepted Taylor's mark, I felt the faintest flicker of regret, but it was quickly overshadowed by a sense of purpose. Afterward, when the guests had dispersed and the formalities were over, Taylor turned to me. "You should speak to him," he said, surprising me. "What?" I asked, stunned. "He's clearly not going to let this go. It's better to resolve it now than to have him disrupting things later." I hesitated but nodded. Taylor was right. Nicho wouldn't stop unless I made things absolutely clear. Outside the hall, the night was cool and quiet. I found Nicho sitting on the stone steps, his head in his hands. When he heard my footsteps, he looked up, his face bruised from his earlier scuffle with the guards. "Aurea," he began, but I held up a hand. "No, Nicho, you need to listen," I said firmly. "I'm not coming back to you. You made your choice, and I've made mine. Taylor may not be my fated mate, but he respects me. He's willing to build a life with me, and that's more than you ever offered." His eyes darkened with pain, but he didn't interrupt. "I wanted you, Nicho, more than anything, but you didn't want me, and I won't spend the rest of my life waiting for someone who can't see my worth." He stood, towering over me, his wolf barely contained. "Aurea, you don't understand. The rejection, it was the biggest mistake of my life. I've been broken ever since. That's not my burden to carry, I said, my voice soft but resolute. For a moment, he looked like he might argue, but then his shoulders slumped, and the fight drained out of him. I just want you to be happy, he said hoarsely. I will be, I replied, stepping back toward the hall. Goodbye, Nicho. Much later in the night, the hall felt suffocating, so I decided to step out a bit. The cool night air wrapped around me as I stepped outside. Nicho was there, sitting under the pale glow of the moon, his shoulders hunched and his head bowed. His wolf was near the surface. I could feel the restless energy radiating from him. When he saw me, he sprang to his feet, his wet, tangled hair glistening under the moonlight. I brought back the necklace that Selena stole from you, look. He extended his hand, revealing the delicate silver chain, its pendant glinting like a shard of ice. My heart didn't so much as twitch. That necklace had once held meaning, a symbol of trust, of promises whispered under the moonlight. But now it was a relic of betrayal, something tainted by the lies that had separated us. Nicho seemed to feel my indifference. His wolf stirred, and desperation bled into his voice. Oreo, please, I checked the security footage. That day, you didn't touch her, it was all staged. Selena set you up. I was blind, I didn't see it. I didn't trust you when I should have. It's my fault. He stepped closer, his eyes pleading. You have to believe me, I understand now. After you left, I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I went back through everything, and I saw how she manipulated me, how I hurt you. You'll do anything to make it right. Anything, Aurea. I crossed my arms, leaning against the stone railing. The wind shifted, carrying his sand pine and desperation. My wolf stirred but didn't rise to meet his energy. She was tired of him, of the stress he had been under. You can blame me, he said, his voice cracking. Hate me if you need to, but don't end it like this. We've known each other for 10 years, Aurea. We grew up together, we made promises to each other, promises to be mates, to lead the pack together. Have you forgotten all of that? The memories he invoked flashed in my mind, images of us as children, running through the forest, shifting together under the full moon, dreaming of the future. But those dreams had burned away, reduced to ash by his rejection and my own resolve to move forward. I nodded slowly, meeting his gaze. For a brief moment, hope flickered in his glowing eyes. Fine, I said. Let's just say I forgot. Maybe I fell out of love first. You can believe whatever you want, it doesn't matter anymore. His face fell, the glow in his eyes dimming. I shrugged, gesturing toward the ceremonial hall behind me. As you can see, I'm already mated. We're over, Nicho. We've been over. There's no reason for you to keep chasing ghosts. Nicho looked shattered, but he wasn't done. He fumbled in his pocket and pulled out a small leather-bound album. My breath caught as he opened it. Inside were thousands of tiny photos, memories of us, pictures I had long since destroyed, burned in the fire of my heartbreak. I had them reprinted, he said softly. Every single one. I know you burned the originals, but I couldn't let them go. Aurea, these are us. These are proof of what we had, of what we can still have. My wolf growled low in my chest, a warning to both him and me. I snatched the album from his hands before he could react. Without a second thought, I hurled it into the lake nearby. The splash echoed in the silence. For a moment, Nicho just stared at the rippling water, disbelief etched into his face. Then, with a strangled sound, he shifted halfway, claws sprouting from his hands as he leaped into the lake. I watched, expressionless, as he dove again and again, searching for the album. But the lake had already claimed it, the same way time had claimed whatever bond we might have shared. When he finally emerged, drenched and shivering, he looked pitiful, like a wolf cast out of the pack. His glowing eyes met mine, full of anger, sorrow, and desperation. It's gone, Nicho, I said softly. Just like us. There's nothing left to salvage. He took a step forward, but I held up a hand. Listen to me, I said, my voice firm. This is goodbye. A proper one, since we never really had one before. Stop chasing me. Stop holding on to something that no longer exists. If you don't let go, Nicho, you only ruin what little good memories I have of you. And I don't want to hate you. His chest rose and fell with ragged breaths, his wolf struggling to break free. But he didn't fight me. He just stood there, his hands clenched at his sides. Goodbye, Nicho, I said, my tone final. I turned and walked away, my wedding dress trailing behind me like a ghost of the past. Taylor was waiting by the car. As I slid into the seat beside him, I felt Nicho's gaze burning into my back. Taylor didn't say anything as we pulled away, leaving Nicho behind in the moonlight. Goodbye, my 10 years goodbye, my first love. As the car sped through the forest, the bond one once shared with Nicho frayed and snapped completely. My wolf sighed in relief, curling into the warmth of Taylor's presence.